Hello musicians, this is Corey Taylor from SkilledMusician.com, where we are helping musicians improve. Thank y'all so much for checking out the video today. Now today's video is part 2 to our 12 left-hand voicings video. So definitely go check part 1 out if you haven't checked it out yet. But today, what are we going to cover? Well, we're going to cover stuff like full stride piano, like this. Or even cluster voicings, like this. Or even the classic locked hand style, like this. Okay, so remember, we have MIDI files and sheet music, the link in the description box, so definitely check those out. They're a great resource. We also have a free downloadable lead sheet available in the description box below, so definitely click the link, grab that lead sheet. But let's not waste any more time, let's get started. Number 7 is stride piano. And so this stride piano, for those that don't know, was a style that was very prominent in the turn of the century, early 1900s, and it's still a great option for left-hand playing. So if you want to check out guys that did it, check out Jelly Roll Morton. He was kind of the originator of it, kind of the New York school of stride piano kind of derived from him. Other guys like Fats Waller, James P. Johnson, these guys were masters of this art form. And so what stride piano is you're playing the root or the root in the 10th, maybe boom on the downbeat, and then on the upbeat or beats 2 and 4, you're playing a chord, a full chord or whatever you like. So boom, pop, boom, pop. So it acts like if you're familiar with the drum set, the bass drum and the snare going boom, this kind of thing. All right, so I'm going to play this tune, the Battle Hymn of the Republic, in the key of C, in the jazz style, not the hymnal style, but the jazz style. And then we'll talk about it and explain it. So here it is. All right, so let's break down what happened there. Okay, so we started off with these octave kind of G's to get us started, just kind of holding. And then we played, so the first chords are C6, so we played the root and a C6. And if you're not sure what a C6 is, so it means C major with the 6 added, so C, E, G, A. And I just played it in first inversion, E, G, A, C. Do you see? And so we do this 1, beep, 5. So 1, 5. And the same chord, C6, 1. Now stride piano does a lot of these 10th walk-ups. So that's what I did. So we're going to F and we're on C, so I just simply walked up. Right? So I started on C and I did 4 chromatic steps. Well, 3 chromatic steps, 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3 to get to F. Right? So let me show you that again. So now I did it in 10ths. So C and E, D and F, E flat and G flat, E and G, and then F and A. Do you see? So we're doing the same thing now in F. So I'm treating this chord as an F major 7. So let me say this, get the lead sheet. The lead sheet is free. In the description box, I put a link to it. So get the lead sheet. Now the lead sheet, I think I might have had F6. So I'm approaching this F as like a F major 9. So how do I get that? So F major, major 7, major 9. And I just brought this G down and put it here. Brought the E down on the bottom. And the F I'm playing on the root down there, so I don't need it here. So, and the interesting thing is, if you notice, this is the same chord as C6, right? We change the bass, and all of a sudden it becomes a different chord without having to change our hand. All right, so I'm playing this F major 9, and then what happens here? Just a 3, 6, 2, 5. So 3, and I approach it as a E half diminished 7, right? And then A sharp 9, sharp 5, D minor 9, G 7, sharp 9, sharp 5. So let me explain those terms to make sure everybody is on the same page. So I said E half diminished. Or another way to think of E of half diminished 7 is minor 7 with the flat 5. So E minor 7 with the flat 5, which is E half diminished 7, right? So we have this E half diminished 7. Now actually, I'm adding the 11th in there, right? So I have that 11th in there. Just a little color tone. And then A7, so let's show A7. So if I don't put major, if I just put A and 7 together, that implies the 7th is flatted. So normally if you think of A major 7, it'd be that, but A7 is here. So A, C sharp, E, and G. All right, and then I said sharp 9 and sharp 5. So the 9, which is B, so think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So B is 9, and I'm sharpening it. So I'm playing a C, and the 5 is E, and I'm sharpening that. So I'm playing a F. So this sound. So I'm gonna put this G on the bottom, and I have the A already I'm playing down here. So this chord, you see A7, sharp 9, sharp 5. So now D minor 9, so how do we get that? So it's coming up next. So D minor is 1, flat 3, 5. D minor 7, add the 7. And in minor, when we say the 7, it's not a major 7, it's the flattest 7. And add the 9, which is just E. So I'm playing the root down here, so I can play the rest of the tones, you see? So E minor, A half diminished, A7, sharp 9, sharp 5, D minor 9, and then G sharp 9, sharp 5, G7, sharp 9, sharp 5. Now how do we get that? So G7, now the 9, which is A, we're sharpening it, and then 5, this D, we're sharpening it. I'm gonna bring this B down, I'm gonna bring this F down, and this G I'm already playing down here. So that's how we get this chord. You see it? So all right, and then we're back. Remember we added this F sharp, and this is the F sharp 7, sharp 9, sharp 5. That chord is phenomenal. I use it all the time. F sharp 7, sharp 9, sharp 5 to take us to our B9 sus4, and then our E7 with the alterations on 13 and the flat 9, and then A minor. So we did F sharp, and then I did A7, sharp 9, sharp 5 again to take us back to D minor, and then we did this. So just to get us, we're going to the 5, so I just threw in something to get us to the 5. So it's sus, 13 sus, then resolve, and then back to 1. Now, what did I do on the end? Because I did something different on the end. I hope you noticed it. I did something called a John Coltrane turnaround, a Coltrane turnaround. So I did this. C, E flat major 7. A flat major 7, D flat major 7, back to 1. So this, right? So. Right. Okay, so there's one other thing that I did that I really want to share with you, and that's rhythmic considerations. This kind of right hand, left hand independence. Um, and it's the little small details that really make the difference in how stride piano or anything where you're doing something independent is perceived. So if you notice, now my right hand, when I played lines, so it wasn't always on the beat. Ow. So I would kind of hit back. Well, let me demonstrate on the line I did. I think. What line did I do? A perfect example. I did something like this. This line over the F sharp 7. Right. I did so. It's just an E diminished scale, and it works very nicely over this F sharp 7. Sharp 9, sharp 5, because it kind of grabs all the alterations. So, all right. So if I was playing it dead on, I would go, but I kind of after. So these little small kind of dragging and pulling of the time, this momentary rubato kind of deal. Is kind of what gives stride piano its a life. Besides the rhythmic deal happening in your left hand, that's really giving it life as well. But you can really mess with the time. So get comfortable with kind of playing on the beat, then get off the beat. See, so off the beat a little bit. All right, so that's stride piano. All right, cluster voicings. Now, what are cluster voicings? Well, they're generally 3 or more, 3 to about 6 or 7 notes that are generally tightly put together, tightly grouped together, and they generally don't contain both the 3rd and the 7th, which are our color tones, our guide tones. And so cluster voicings, I remember the first time I saw someone play one, I was watching a guy, and I knew the chord coming up was a G minor chord. So I was expecting to see, G minor, or even, So what I saw was this, which kind of like threw me for a loop. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't know you could do that. You're breaking all the rules. Well, not necessarily. All right, so if you look at it, we have the G minor 7, have the root, the 3rd, the 7th, and I have a 9 here. So this kind of cluster. So I'm going to play Battle Hymn of the Republic. I'm not going to play it in time per se. I'm going to kind of be loose with the time because I want you to hear these clusters. And so let me tell you how clusters are formed. So let me do it to it. Let me play first, and then I'll explain how clusters are formed. All right, so let me do a quick primer on what cluster voicings are. So what are clusters? So the simplest explanation is you take 2 chord tones and then add one of the upper structures that's a half or whole step away from one of those chord tones. So let me show you. Let's take, first, let me make sure you understand what upper structures are. So let's take a regular C major chord. So here we go, C major, C, G. All right, so now, the 7th, we can add the 7th If we want to add more notes, we start getting into these upper structures. Well, we can add the 9, which is D. We can add the F sharp, which is the sharp 11. We can add the 13, which is A. So, right. And why not the 11? Well, the 11 clashes with the 3rd. And the 11 suggests sus, which means there shouldn't be a 3rd. So that's what we do sharp 11. So these are the upper structures. So if I take a chord like C6, or let's take C major 7. So I have this chord. So I want to take 2 of the chord tones. Let's take C and E. And I'll find the upper structure that's a half step or whole step near one of these. So let's see, what are our upper structures? Remember, D, F sharp, and A. Well, F sharp is too far, A is too far, but D is right there in the middle. So now we have a C major chord in essence. Do you see it? Or a cluster, a C major cluster. Excuse me. Let's take the same chord, C major 7 chord. What other ones could we try? Let's try E and G. Those are our 2 chord tones. So what upper structure falls near here? Well, D. No. Well, we could use D, right? That's a whole step away from the E. We could use D. What else could we use? Could we use A? We could use A. That's a whole step away from the G. What about F sharp? Can we use F sharp? Yes, we could use F sharp. It's a half step away from the G. Do you see? Now this F sharp, and I played the F sharp, but the F sharp gives this Lydian sound. Now all of a sudden we're kind of out of the key. So Lydian meaning sharp 4. Right. So now we're kind of out of the key a little bit. So when I started, I said, right. So I did this, but so now by adding that F sharp in there, we've kind of opened the chord up a little bit. So now we're not stuck in this kind of. Now we're kind of this kind of out space, right? So I kind of did something like that in my right hand. To kind of letting you know we're in the key, but we're kind of traveling away. And then when I came back to the melody, all right. And in this case, I did actually play the 3rd and 7th, and I added the upper structure, which would be the A right there. All right. And this chord, I played the 3rd and 7th, but then I did so for the F, I played the 3rd and 7th there plus the 9. But then I did this one. So what's that? So I remember our chord is F major 7 here. So I did E, F, and C. So let's break that down. So I have F major 7. So I'm gonna choose 2 chord tones. So in this case, I chose F and C. And so I'm adding the E down there to make this kind of clustered sound. You see? All right. And then for the E, half diminished. So this is the chord notes of the E half diminished. All right. Now if I want to keep going up, all right. So what note did I add? So I took G and D and I added F sharp. So and I put it there. You see? It's this sound. So I did something like this, I think. This was taken to the next chord, which is A7. I did it. So this one I played 3rd and 7th with the sharp 9 there for the A. And then here I went out of key. So let me tell you what I did here. I went to A flat major 7, this. And I actually played 4 notes. I played the 7, the 1, the 2, or the 9, and the 3rd. So that's definitely a cluster. And then I went to D flat major 7. So kind of like a play off of the Coltrane turnaround that we did earlier, which was E flat, A flat, D flat, C. I just did A flat, D flat, C. So for the D flat, I did the 3rd, the 5th, the 13th. Sorry, the 3rd, the 5th, the 13th, yes, and the major 7. So I went from. So then I turn around. So. You can also think of these as tritone subs. Instead of playing the D, so to do that, I tritone subbed. And I'll explain these in another video, but just simply, if you're on D, go tritone up, which is an interval of a flatted 5th. I went to A flat, and then we were supposed to go to G, went down and flatted 5th, right? Or you can think of it as 1, 2, 3 whole steps. So 1, 2, 3. So instead of playing D, I played A flat. And then instead of playing G, I played D flat. You see? So. Alright. So these clusters, now I generally don't use clusters like for an entire song. So this was kind of weird. You throw it in occasionally here to kind of maybe step out a little bit, or just to kind of give a different sound, and then you kind of go back to what you were playing. So I know it sounded really weird, but clusters can be very, very fun, and there are several different ways to form clusters. So I just gave you one kind of popular way, which is using 2 chord tones and an upper structure somewhere near those chord tones. There are lots of ways to do it. But yeah, so that was cluster voicings. So the next thing we can play on the left hand is just full chords. And this is really what I did. I was trying to figure out what to play on my left hand when I started. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to play what my right hand plays. So I would play a song with my right hand and just kind of a bass note. And then I would switch and have my left hand play those chords that my right hand was playing, and I would play just melody or something with my right hand. And so this is one option you can use, and let me just kind of demonstrate it for you. So here we go. All right, so what did I play on my left hand? I just played those 4 chords. So the same thing I'd be playing my right hand, I just played it in my left hand. So the first chord, I just played C major 7. And then I did a 2-5-1. Okay, let me give you that one. So. All right, so here, I did a 2-5-1 to take me to F. So what I mean, I did 2-5, so I'm doing like a key change, kind of. So I'm thinking localized key change. So I'm thinking F major now. So I'm doing 2-5-1. So G minor, C7, F major, right? And I'll explain. I'll do another video about 2-5-1s and just kind of how to understand them, what they are. But just think of them simply as a vehicle to get you somewhere. So I know I'm going to F. How can I get there? Earlier we walked up. How else can I get there? I can utilize something called 2-5-1, which is just simply playing the 2. So we're going to F. So F is the 1, so 2 is G minor, C7, F. Okay. So I did. So I played a G minor 9, right? And then I did this, which is just C7 with the flat 9 and a sharp 5, right? That's kind of a jazzy sounding chord. So then I played my E minor, E half diminished with the 11 in there. So here I did my B minor 9 with the sus4. B9 sus4, and then E7 with the 13 and the flat 9. Then A minor, so I did then D minor 9, then 13 sus, G13 sus, resolve, and then 1. So definitely playing 4 chords in left hand can free your right hand up to play and stuff, you know. Right? All right, so that was 4 chords in your left hand. Locked hand style. So what is locked hands? Locked hands was originated by Milt Buckner, and it was kind of popularized by George Shearing. And so what locked hands is you're playing a closed chord in your right hand, and whatever the melody note is there, you're going to double that in your left hand. You see, so whatever I play. So my pinky, my top note in my right hand, and my left hand are playing the same note. So you've kind of heard that sound before. So this is a great tool to use. So let me just try to play through it for you, and then we'll talk about it. So. So yeah, so that's a really, really cool sound that you can pull out and throw, and it gives such an amazing color. That just add that to your tool belt. So let me explain it. So the first chord, I approach it at C6. So I'm playing the 6 down here. See? And I did this diminished. You can think of this as G7 flat 9, or just a diminished, just regular F diminished 7. So. And I'm just doubling whatever chord I'm playing in my right hand. Nope, I'm just doubling in my left hand. So G, F, E, G. Then I moved up, C, D, E. And no, you're not stuck simply playing with your right hand melody. You can. You see? You see what I did there? So I knew I was going to. So my left hand I did. I gave it a little roll. Okay, so that's the locked hand style of chord voicing. So definitely get that one under your belt. All right, drop 2. This might be my favorite style of voicing. I probably use more than any other. And so what is drop 2? Drop 2 is originated as an arranging tool to let the melody stand out away from the chord. So let me show you what drop 2 is, and then I'll play the song for you. So drop 2 is simply, let's take C major 7. So what drop 2 says is take the second highest voice. So that would be G, and put it in your left hand, or take it an octave lower, rather. So now the melody note does not have any close competition here. It's by itself, so it sings out better than. So you listen here, you hear the melody, but here it sounds different, right? So let me play through this in drop 2. All right, so that was drop 2. So what I did was simply take the second highest voicing in every chord. So let's go through it. So for the first chord, we have, so I did. So I have C6 here. So I put the C, which is the second highest voice on the left hand. We had to diminish F flat diminished. So I put the D, which is the second highest voice there. So and you can see we kind of keep this same shape in our hand, right? And then the next chord is C6 again, C major 6. So we're going to take the E and put it there. So back down. Now, kind of the same thing here. C6, and put the A, diminish. And then this is C7, so I put the B flat, which would be here, left hand. Then F6. Now here's what I did, which is pretty cool. I did this kind of, it's kind of a diminished move. So instead of that, you get this kind of deal. So this kind of rub. I should explain this. So, so think of this as just this sound. I'm going to D minor, but I added this kind of F sharp, which in this case would be like a extra tension, I guess you might call it. Same thing here. This is parallel down, and then. So, all right, and then I went to regular diminished. You see it? Then D minor, diminish, D minor, 7 again. And then I gave you, now this isn't drop 2, but I just thought I'd throw it in there. All right, then back to drop 2. So this is it. So this would normally be like that, but I'm taking the E and putting the left hand. Not diminish. You'll find you use diminish a lot. And then, so here, instead of doing our traditional B half diminish or B minor or B7 or B9 sus4 or whatever, here I decided to just follow the melody and keep, actually I made it A minor with the 6th there to give it a different sound. So I start to diminish again, and I just roll it up. So D minor, G sus, G7 flat 9, and then C6 9. All right, so that's drop 2. So I don't recommend doing this everywhere, but throw it in occasionally. Just throw a little spice in occasionally with drop 2. So yeah, definitely get that one under your belt. Our last option that we're going to cover today for our left hand is playing the melody with our left hand. Keith Jarrett, the famed jazz pianist who was considered one of the greatest, if not the greatest, jazz pianist. He talked about the left hand, and he said it's usually curled into these chordal things or vamping something. But what else can it do? And so what else can the left hand do besides playing chords or supplementing what the right hand's playing? Well, it can play the melody. So this is going to be a departure from what we normally do, but let's have some fun. All right, so that's a little bit different. It's something we don't do, but thinking about approaching your left hand as a melodic voice, really gives you new ideas. So I'll kind of go through what I did there. Just kind of playing and just supporting. That's I did harmony with the right hand. The melody's here. And I just played C6 chords, diminished, C6. So I'm actually playing a drop 2 here. With the left hand lick. So, you see it? And then, so did that. So. That's a chord I would never have played if I wasn't thinking about. So this is my G7 chord. So I have G7, and I have the sharp 9, the flat 5, the sharp 5. So this is altered, right? Now I never would have thought to play that if I wasn't thinking melody with my left hand. And don't forget about octave playing. That's pretty important. All right. So here's my B9 sus4. I just didn't play the bass. Here's my diminished. And then A minor. Then I went to A7. And then I did this. Just harmonize that. So I just. All right, so definitely that's an option for you, and it's cool when you just kind of throw it in there, throw a left hand melody, and the right hand starts kind of comping the left hand or chording for the left hand, and then switch back. So that's another option for you. Wow, congratulations. You made it through all 12. Well, at least I hope you did. So if you haven't, go back and check out part 1. But yeah, hopefully you found at least one move, one idea that you could take away and start applying to your playing. And I promise you, mastering one idea alone will dramatically change your playing and increase it for the better. Now remember, we have sheet music and MIDI files in the description box. Definitely click the link to get those. We also have that free downloadable lead sheet, so definitely get that as well. So definitely thumbs up this video, share it on all the social media platforms, share it with all your friends, and definitely comment below what you would like to see us make next. So you all have been really great about sharing with me your ideas for new content, so I have an amazing list of material that we're working on right now to get out to you. But keep commenting, keep emailing me your ideas, because we can always use them. All right, remember we have other videos on this channel, so definitely check those out as well. So again, my name is Corey Taylor from SkilledMusician.com, where we are helping musicians improve. So hopefully this video has helped you improve. So until the next one, happy practicing and be blessed.